Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the morning grind. I was up and working early this morning, and one of the things that I was working on was that I submitted the a membership level of $4.99 because I believe that was the problem with why the gifting was not showing up, and now we see it. So I created the $4.99 level for gifting. I haven't got, so that means that I'm going to add some different things to the $7.99. I got to figure out how to get the how to make like the members only live streams practical. I really wish that what I could do was just as I was doing the morning grind, then for another 15 minutes or something at the end, just go private on the same stream, and then just let just continue with the members for a little bit. But I have to set up a whole nother stream for that, and so that wasn't completely practical. But we will see how that goes. But for the moment, it was requested, so now we have a membership level which can be gifted. So that is there, and I did check over that I clicked it, and now I see the gifting, and I saw it on my end. So that means that I think it works. So that is there. And I was actually watching on a stream last night somebody else who just enabled some memberships and membership gifting. And so I was watching them do it, and I was gifted a membership. So if somebody purchases the membership, then it's going to come up in the stream, the comment stream, and then click on the gift, because you have to enable it saying that you're interested in having a gift, or that you'll permit somebody to send you a gift. Who gets the gift, I believe, is based on your activity on the channel. So it gives the gifts to people who are most active. So that means that if it's the people who are actually interacting and watching, but also commenting or whatever, that are most likely to receive the gifts. But if you want a gift, when you see it, you do have to enable it for this channel to say, hey, I'm willing to receive gifts. So that's how that works. Okay. So I was up this morning. So I was doing work, got that done, was doing some writing. Then I kind of slipped into my biphasic sleep schedule. So then did writing or did work all pretty early, and then went back to sleep. And then now I'm here again. So I did get writing done, but hey, the biphasic sleep schedule isn't terrible. I just wish I was doing more work in the morning. And one of the next big things I got to do is I've got to get the Kickstarter page for the Dinner and a Board Game, for Goodnight Sword ready. Dinner and a Board Game is Friday. I already put up the link. So we'll do Dinner and a Board Game on Friday, 6:30, so a little bit earlier, 6:30 p.m. on Friday. We'll get started. We'll do a solo Hero Quest game. We're going to see how it goes. I'm really excited about that. So I already put the link up. So if you see that you can hit the notify me, and you'll know it's coming. Tonight, we're also doing a table talk, because Doug reached out to me and he said that he really wanted to do an in-depth analysis of a single movie about the Heroine's Labyrinth. So if you haven't been following on Table Talk, Doug has developed this fantastic theory of the Heroine's Labyrinth, which is sort of the feminine alternative to the hero's journey. And he has been using it to explain a lot of stories, but he wanted to go in depth on one single story with it. And so he wanted to do Silence of the Lambs. So we got Table Talk tonight, 7:30. We're going to be doing an in-depth discussion of Silence of the Lambs. Okay. So, all right. We're going to be continuing here. And hey, look, I do have the physical book. I'm going to bring it up on the PDF because I think that is generally easier. But I do have the Rules Cyclopedia here. So this is... it's a thick book. It's a thick book. And I think this is a good one to have physically. So I've got the physical copy of the book, but we're going to continue with the Rules Cyclopedia today. So this is the original old school. This is the original old school kind of stuff. Really interesting to know. Oh, it's Stray. Welcome, Stray. You know, I was thinking about you yesterday. Stray says, good morning, everyone. 47 days in the hospital. I missed everyone. Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad you're back. I'm very glad to have you. I mean, we got lots of people here this morning. Zero the Blade is here. James Bacon is here. Nathaniel is here. Good morning. Mike is here. Good to see you, Mike. Lord Lawless says, actually awake here, so good morning. That's right. Rhino Watcher is here as well. Good to see everybody. But yes, so glad you're back. So glad you're back, Stray. Okay, let's go and take a look at the messages, and then we'll get to work on this.
Fish are friends, not food.
I'm a little worried about Rob.
Yes, it's happening.
Ever since we tried to summon Cthulhu, he hasn't been the same.
I'm growing gills. Gills! My transformation into a deep one has finally begun.
Rob, we don't see any gills.
It's these kids getting involved all the stuff causes them to go crazy.
If you need to catch up on The Cultist show, both Season 1 and Season 2 are on my YouTube channel. Just go to the playlist. Each episode is about 5 to 7 minutes long. This month, there are several things going on ravenkeep.net. First, War of Kings is the game of conquest, kingdom building, and strategy that my brother and I developed. It's Catan meets Risk, but there are only 5 boxes of War of Kings remaining, and the game won't be reprinted. Also, Enchantress, the game of wizardly combat, also designed by my brother and me, is on ravenkeep.net, but there are just 6 copies of that game left, and it will also not be reprinted. So if you'd like either of these games for your table, please pick up one from the website now. If you've been enjoying what I'm doing here on the channel, please consider becoming a channel member by clicking that join button. Your support is so important, and this month, we have a special offer for all of the channel members. If you join, you'll get a $7.99 discount on all of the custom mugs from ravenkeep.net, Cultist Coffee, Witch's Brew, or Fish Do Not Drink Tea. Once you've joined the channel, just check the members only post on the YouTube channel's community tab for the discount code. Remember, all orders from the website of $99 or more ship free, but I can only ship to the United States. And thank you for being here with me live on The Morning Grind. And if you're watching on replay, welcome to you as well. It's great to have you here. If you're enjoying The Morning Grind, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It will really help the channel grow, and I would be very thankful. We also have the Ravenkeep Discord server you can join if you would like to be a part of the community. Alright, that's what you need to know. Let's get to the main topic. I just put the Discord server link in here, and I'm going to put a link to ravenkeep.net as well, so that you can shop over there. So if you're at the $7.99 level, you've got the membership level. You get the bonus for the bonus at the shop right now. So I'm going to try to do something every month for the channel members like that. So right now, get some of the mugs at a discount if you would like to have them. They're awesome. All right, let's breathe. Let's breathe and sip. 2 deep breaths, full exhales, and then sip. All right. Let's bring up the rules cyclopedia then. We were having fun with this yesterday. Rogue Thinker asks, do I know the book Quazzle from Alan Dean Foster? I do not. I do not know what that is. Okay, so we were looking at the Rules Encyclopedia, or Rules Cyclopedia, and we had just gotten... I don't think we need to go through every bit of this, but we were having some fun taking a look at the old school classes or old school character generation, and we had just gotten to classes. And that's basically where we stopped. So I thought that's where we should start, because I want to look at this, but then also some of the GM stuff. Oh, it's about a space bunny society coming to Earth. Oh, that seems like something I should know about. Okay, so we said that we're doing demi-humans as classes here. Let's see. So what the humans are the most prolific race. They are also the race with the greatest potential. A demi-human classes can only attain moderate experience levels, 8th, 10th, or 12th, depending on the class of the race. Each of the 4 basic human characters can attain 36th level. So I was also shocked to see that you could play up to 36th level. Now, I don't really know what the how many XP it takes. I know it was talking about minimum or maximum of 1 adventure, 1 per adventure, 1 level per adventure. So that's still 36. I guess if you're playing weekly, you've got 36 weeks to get to level 36. And then demi-humans are more limited than human characters. They cannot rise very high levels of experience. Dwarves are limited to 12th level, elves to 10th, and halflings 8. Elves cannot learn very powerful magic. They can also learn, they can only learn up to 5th level spells, while humans can learn up to 9th level spells. And I also wonder what the justification of that was. Dwarves can go up to 12th level. Elves can go up to 10th. Is that to make sure that you always, like an elf, does that make sure that you always stay something like Bilbo and Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin? I don't know. That's the only thing I can think. Although I don't understand the elves only to 10th. But that's the way it was. Zero Theory says pretty fast leveling. I was kind of thinking that might be the case. Oh, William Moore. Good morning, William. Says, if you want to check out the stuff which is most different from other versions of D&D, you should focus on weapon mastery and Dominion play. We do need to look at Dominion. Yeah, weapon mastery and Dominion play. We definitely do that. Yeah, Stargate Mind says, elves have had high levels of magic and lives thousands of years compared to other races. So, yeah, I don't know why. But it says that day-to-day... So, no, it says the demi-human races of elves, dwarves, and halflings have a different way of life than humans. They usually live longer, have a stricter way of life, and find security in large family groups called clans. A clan may include several hundred demi-humans. The head of the clan is always the oldest member, male or female, assuming that member is fit to rule. Day-to-day tasks are done by those best suited to do them. Unlike many human societies, few demi-humans are lazy. Everyone has a job with clan duties responsible, and goofing off is nearly unthinkable. The DM may choose to, even in halfling societies, the DM may choose to develop other aspects of demi-human family life, such as marriage, custom, industry, clan-to-clan relations, as needed. Huh. Okay, so cleric. So our overview of cleric is prime requisite wisdom, experience point bonus, 5% for wisdom, 13 to 15, 10% for wisdom, 16 to 18. They are D6 per level hit dice up to 9th level. Starting with 10th level, they get +1 hit point per level, and constitution adjustments no longer apply. Maximum level 36, armor, any plus shield. Weapons, no edged or pointy weapons, all others permitted. Ability spells, special abilities, turning undead, and clerical spells. But the cleric does not get any spells at first level. We had a question about that, and we checked that that was true. That was the last thing we did yesterday. A first level cleric cannot cast any spells. Once he reaches 2nd level, he can begin to cast spells. And here is our XP slot or XP chart. And actually, we do see, okay, so 0 to 1,500 to 3,000, so another 1,500. Then you're doubling. It takes 6,000. It takes another 3,000 to get to level 4. Okay, double that again. Takes another 6,000 to get to level 5. Takes a bit more than a double to get to level 6, 25,000. Then you hit 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. But then it looks like we kind of level off at 100,000 points. So it's not exponentially getting more difficult to go from level to level. Which is what we were just saying, that faster level, right? So 5, 6, 7,000. Yeah, then it looks like we're then all the way up to 36 from level 8. We're going up by 100,000 points. Cleric saving throws. So it looks like you're not changing every level, but 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12. And then remember, this lower is better because you've got to roll this number or higher in order to pass. Rhino Watcher says the limit on demi-human level was to balance the other benefits that they get. George says that early level caps were about making humans more desirable to play since they had no level caps. This carried over to later editions. And it assumes that that this is why humans dominate the world. Yeah. Okay, so I don't remember necessarily being it's something that I thought about a lot. I mean, there were level restrictions in AD&D, but it didn't really come into play that much. I don't remember ever like playing a character where that was influencing. It may have happened once or twice, but I don't really remember that. Okay, Class details, hit dice. Okay, so turning undead. The cleric has the power to force certain monsters called undead. How did this work? Skeletons, zombies, ghouls, wights, and other types to run away or even perish. This special ability is called Turn Undead. When a cleric encounters an undead monster, the cleric may either attack it normally with a weapon or may try to turn it. A cleric cannot both attack and turn in the same round. If you want to have your cleric try to turn undead, just tell your dungeon master, I'll try to turn undead this round. The power to turn undead is inherent in the cleric. He does not need a symbol of his faith or any other device to do it. He does not need a symbol of his faith here, unless the DM declares otherwise. Undead monsters are not automatically turned by this. When the encounter occurs, players must refer to the cleric's turning table. Okay, so there is a turning table. Oh, and here it is. Okay, so the cleric's turning table. It looks like we have turned and destroyed. So that was something that we were looking at in AD&D. So it looks like that kind of stayed. And then you roll on it. If you see the dash, then you cannot turn this monster. We've got auto turning, destruction of undead. Skeletons, zombies, and ghouls are up early. I like that cleric. So we do have, and they call 9th level name level. When a cleric reaches name level 9th, he is called a patriarch if male or a matriarch if female. At this point in his adventuring career, he has several options available to him. If the character is a neutral cleric, he can decide to become a druid instead. See the description of that character class below. He certainly does not have to change his class. If the cleric is neutral, who does not want to become a druid, or if he is lawful or chaotic alignment, he must decide whether to build a clerical stronghold approved by his clerical order. Depending on how the DM has set up his campaign, the cleric might have built himself a home or even a lavish castle long before. However, that was his personal home, regardless of how big it was, of what he has done with it. Here, we're talking about a stronghold sanctioned by the cleric's order, one which can be built and maintained to further the goals of the order. Let's see. Rhino says, you could play a high-level game in BEC-MI, but just like in 5th edition, games rarely got above 12th. That's why they took domain play out of 3rd ed onward. But we still went to 20th level. But yeah, we haven't really seen that since. I mean, it was I guess it was kind of there in AD&D, but not a lot. You only went to 20th level in AD&D. Let's see. So land-owning clerics. A cleric who decides to build a stronghold with the sanction of his clerical order is called a land-owning cleric. Note, this is merely a convenient term. A land-owning cleric can go adventuring with his footloose friends. He is not tied to his land. So the advantages is the character can progress up through the ranks in his clerical order. Characters may receive financial aid of his order toward building a stronghold. The character may be able to increase his land and build strong settlements there, which could result in him becoming a very wealthy character indeed. Disadvantages: the character will be chief clerical authority for his clerical order for the lands around his stronghold. That means he has clerical responsibilities to all the people living on and around his land, responsibilities which may interfere with his desire to travel with his old adventuring friends, or which may confront him with difficult problems. So you're either a land-owning cleric or a traveling cleric. So the advantages is that you're not tied down to any particular place, except when acting on official requests from your order, he may go as he pleases. Disadvantage: the cleric may not rise to or above the rank of a landowning cleric, and he may not achieve much political influence within his order. He doesn't stop earning experience points, experience levels, or personal power. He just cannot climb any higher in the clerical order's hierarchy. The cleric still has responsibility to his clerical order. Naturally, as before, he just may not be required at any time. He may be required any time to uphold the beliefs and accomplish the goals of his order. So you start to build at 9th. So it says the number typically 1d6 of lower level clerics who come to a stronghold once is built. So assist the cleric in operating the stronghold. See chapter 11. Choosing to travel, changing once and back and forth. Once a player decides to be a traveling or land-owning cleric, only a major development in the campaign or the character should change that status. The DM should discourage frequent or casual changes of the cleric's status. Lots of stuff going on in the comments, I see. Okay, let's see what goes on with the fighter. Okay, so the fighter, we said summary was that prime requisite strength, experience points 5% for strength 13 to 15, 10% for strength, 10% for strength 16 to 18. Bonus experience points like that, something that has gone. Hit dice. Okay, so now also, should we look over here? No, the fighter experience points table is also different. So this is also different than the cleric table. So we looked at that too in AD&D and some other systems where, okay, the different classes level at different rates. And we don't see that nearly as much in more modern stuff. There was one that we looked at. Oh, no, wasn't it D&D hardcore mode? Was it D&D hardcore mode that returned some type of differential leveling to the different classes? It may have been. Because we've had this discussion before. So this is a bit different. So the fighter, I remember saying it was 1,500 experience points, to become a level 2 cleric. But it's 2,000 points to become a level 2 fighter. So you're not expecting everybody to be about the same level. Or maybe you're about the same level, but not exactly the same level. So it takes 2,000 points to get to level 2, 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, 32,000, 64,000, 120,000, 240,000. Now we're going up by 120,000 points. Once we get here, there's 9. So then it looks like we level out at 120,000 points to level up a fighter. So differential leveling. Lord Lawless says, really have to look at these original games in total and in context. Read yesterday's comments about Thieves having D4 HD. Well, Thieves level, the faster will have more HD, more hit dice for the same amount of hit points. Yeah. So class level, so class details then. So what is it that the fighters get? Beginning fighters initially receive only a couple of special abilities and need no other special abilities to survive and prosper. Their great strength, hit points, strong armor, and many weapons make them powerful characters without additional special abilities. At high experience levels, though, they do receive some additional fighting abilities. The 2 special abilities they do receive immediately are the lance attack maneuver and the set, spear, and charge maneuvers. These maneuvers are described in Chapter 8. So once again, we do have land-owning fighters. When a fighter reaches name level, 9th level, the character is, owing to his great abilities and reputation, addressed as Lord if male or Lady if female. This is the status within his community, even if it's not a formal title. It sounds like, what character was that said, there are 2 ways to become a lord. One is by the grant of the king, and the other one is if his sword makes him so. So this seems like definitely the philosophy of, well, your sword has made you so. At name level, the fighter will have to decide whether he intends to be a land-owning fighter, a ruler in his own right, or a traveling fighter. Don't be confused by the names. A land-owning fighter may spend a lot of time traveling and adventuring, and a traveling fighter may spend a lot of his time at home. So there are 2 ways for a fighter to become a land-owning fighter, independently or in fealty to a greater ruler. The DM decides on what sort of government is used in his campaigns. On the subject of the dominion level play, the once you hit about 9, You know, one thing that stops you from having to do, instead of just trying to go adventuring constantly from levels 1 to 20 or even 1 to 36, but like 1 to 20 in 5th edition, is, I mean, you're just constantly having to come up with some type of new special power or attack or maneuver or something like that that continuously gives you some type of new cool power, you know, every time that you level up, because that's what players are expecting. But at least in this, like if you're transferring to a different kind of mode of play, you don't have to just constantly keep spiraling upward in I got to think of some kind of new crazy fighter power. What's some kind of new crazy whatever kind of character class ability or something like that. You just get to not have to worry about that because you're changing over to doing something else. So, and it's interesting that's about 9 too, because we've said previously that, or I had said, you know, maybe 10 levels is probably plenty because we were seeing some games that were doing that now rather than trying to go all the way to 20 levels. Maybe 10 levels is just fine. So it's interesting that ninth level, which is almost 10th, but ninth level is so significant in this game that that's when you stop getting your hit dice. You know, it seems like, you know, you've maxed out. Seems like you've maxed out your kind of adventuring level stuff. Okay, so you can petition a ruler for a grant of land. If he has already done them great services in the past, they may immediately and they may give it to him immediately and gratefully. But if he's not already their friend or ally, he may send them on a difficult quest so he can prove himself to them. Once he's been granted the land, he may build a castle upon it at his own expense. The land may be occupied or not. If it's unoccupied, the prospective ruler had best try to lure settlers there soon, as his dominion will begin receiving tax revenue. At the very least, a land-owning fighter within the existing country will be granted the title of Baron if male or Baroness if female or the equivalent. If he continues to expand his land within his nation's laws, he may receive greater titles such as Count, Countess, and Duke, Duchess. If the fighter wishes to make his dominion in a wilderness which is not part of an existing country, he may call himself anything he wants, Baron, Duke, King, Emperor. However, be aware that too glorious a title will make others laugh at him. If he takes a title, he should be appropriate to the size and strength of his dominion that he is ruling. He may wish to change his title as it increases in title and prosperity. Alternatively, you can keep being a traveling fighter. Ah, look, Paladins. So here's Paladin. A lawful traveling fighter may be known as a Paladin. Oh, so this is cool. So it's not just we said, hey, there's a lack of Paladin in there. It was interesting, like how this is organized. That Druid is some other kind of character class, but that Paladin isn't set up like that. Paladin is set up as another name for a traveling fighter. The alignment of a traveling who has hit at least name, who's hit name level, which is 9. Because you know, I'm also a fan of not having level 1 paladins. I'm also in general not for having level 1 knights. But you could, but in general. So it's interesting that here paladins are something that you do not start out as, and you've got to get to a fighter level 9. Avengers are the evil paladins. Kronos is saying. Okay, that's interesting. Let's take a look at this. So a lawful traveling fighter, and we only had lawful and chaotic, right? We were looking at this. We didn't have like the evil alignment. We didn't have the complete axis. Paladins, a lawful traveling fighter may be known as a paladin if he meets the following requirements. If he does not meet the requirements, he may become a knight, which is described below. Okay, so here is knight. So we've got paladin, knight, and avenger. You got to be level 9 to be a knight. So you don't have to go through knight in order to become a paladin like you did in Hackmaster. We've looked at the knight, the relationship between fighters, knights, and paladins in Hackmaster, and I really liked it. I really liked that. So the fighter must swear fealty, an oath of service to a lawful clerical order to gain paladin status. The fighter must be of name level or greater to be accepted by the... I wonder why that's called name level, not rank level. Seems like it's a rank that we hit, but it's called name level or greater to be accepted by the clerical order. Thereafter, the paladin must be summoned, may be summoned by the order's leader at any time, and must do as they command, as long as in the service aids the powers of good. The paladin can detect evil as per the cleric spell as often as once per round, simply by concentrating, range 120 feet. Cannot attack while doing this. 3. The paladin's wisdom. If the paladin's wisdom score is 13 or greater, the character can cast cleric spells as if he... Now, see, but this is also a way to have advancement. Like, okay, the problem is that if you're just playing some type of low-level one-shot, okay, then you can't play a paladin. You can in 5th edition. On the other hand, this is another way of making the character feel like, or making the player feel like the character is growing and changing without necessarily just stacking on extra attacks and everything like that. I like that. Now, I as I've always said, that if you're doing it like that, you really need to flip it so that also it's possible to create a high-level character. So if you want to be very quickly, I think. So if you want to play a high-level game as a one-shot or something like that, you could do that, which this is clearly geared toward the building. So a paladin can detect evil. Oh, so we just said that. A paladin's wisdom score is 13 or greater. The character can cast cleric spells as if he were a cleric of 1/3 his actual experience level. Round any fractions down. A fighter becomes a paladin right after 9th. He'll immediately gain the spells of a 3rd level cleric. A 17th level paladin can cast spells as if he were a 5th level cleric. If his wisdom score is 12 or less, the fighter can still be a paladin but cannot cast spells. So if you're thinking about doing that early on, better have some wisdom if that's your goal. The paladin can learn how to meditate and cast spells from the clerics of the order. The cleric will refuse any offer of compensation for payments for this service. A paladin can turn undead as if he were a cleric of 1/3 his actual experience level, rounded down. Therefore, a 6th or 7th level paladin can turn undead with the same ability as a 2nd level cleric. A paladin may only travel with a number of hirelings equal to or less than his clerical level. In other words, if he can cast spells or turn undead as a 5th level cleric, he can have 5 hirelings accompanying him. A paladin must assist anyone who asks for aid, with 2 exceptions. He does not have to help evil characters or achieve evil goals, and if the paladin is on a mission for a higher authority, such as a quest, serving a duke, etc., he can offer only a small amount of help, such as sheltering or advising the person in need of aid, along with an explanation for his refusal. Assistance never involves donation of money or items, but only service for a short time. Hey, Grimhild. Welcome. Good morning. James Bacon says, I was talking about, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Defenders as a dwarf prestige class. Sable Phoenix says, gain keeps and holdings, gain followers, pursue particular prestige classes like a paladin. Definitely feels more complete than 5th edition. I agree with that. And then James Bacon says, it also properly leans on the player to define the adventure and follow their own path and plot. Let's see. So knights. Okay, so a neutral traveling fighter may become a knight. Lawful traveling fighters who do not become paladins or clerics or chaotic traveling fighters who do not become Avengers are also able to become knights. To gain knighthood, a fighter must swear allegiance to a prince, king, or emperor. In return, the ruler will declare the character a knight, and that ruler then becomes the knight's liege. In most campaigns, knights are the most common sort of traveling fighters. The following rules apply to knights. If summoned by his liege, the knight must report to him as quickly as possible and must serve as the liege orders. If the knight ever refuses to obey the liege or ever swears fealty to another liege, the knight loses 3 levels of experience. This is level loss, something that's also been removed. The DM may increase this penalty if the offense warrants it. The previous liege may even order the offender slain for his treachery. In addition, rumors and tales of the traitorous knights may haunt the character forever. The character may find it difficult to find help in places where his reputation is known. If the liege dies, the knight is free to choose another. Additional benefits, land, money, etc., may be awarded to the knights who swear fealty to the successor of the liege who dies. A knight may petition the liege for a peaceful end to his oath, however, it's rarely granted. The knight would be banished at least and could be stripped of all powers as well. A knight may visit any castle, it says any in italics, of any territory and request sanctuary. The castle owner must, by the customs of the land, give the knight a place to stay up for up to 3 days, along with food and drink. He does not have to be friendly to the knight, but according to this custom, he may not challenge, attack, or refuse sanctuary to the knight. Note that the knight cannot challenge or attack his host or a member of his host's court or family either. Should he do so, the sanctuary is at an end, and his host is now free to punish him. In campaigns modeled after medieval Europe, the custom is nearly universal, but the DM is free to indicate that the custom is not present if his nations are not similar to Europe. If a call to arms sounds, a call for knights to battle for justice, the knights must respond. This declaration can only be issued by the ruler of a large town, mayor or territory, archduke or greater status. And the knight need only respond if it sounds in the area through which he is passing or if called upon by his liege. When the call to arms sounds, the knight must immediately travel as far as possible to the ruling castle, as fast as possible to the ruling castle of one of those who made the call to arms, and fight as ordered by the ruler. Within the constraints of any knight's oath he has taken in the course of his campaign. This is really interesting. I'm glad we did this one. It gives me, I haven't been able to ever look at it before. Like I said, the oldest edition that I ever knew was 2nd edition. So that's where my kind of knowledge stopped. So you always hear things like the domain play and stuff like that, but I hadn't really understood it firsthand. So now we're getting into the history and understanding where our hobby has come from. Yeah, and I did say that you can convert back and forth. It said there was the ability to convert from 2nd edition to this and back, and that's in the appendix here. Rogue Thinker says, after 40 years of playing these, I'm still not 100% certain how weapon mastery actually works and increases. We will see. Okay, so call to arms. If the ruler who made the call to arms orders him to kill innocents or helpless prisoners, the knight may choose to refuse, but he will make an enemy of that ruler. The knight is entitled to compensation for his service. The ruler issuing the call to arms must grant the knight a gift appropriate to the value of the knight's services. Many rulers will offer the gift out of gratitude. Some will not. The knight has the right to demand the gift. He does not have the right to demand if he does. He does not have to demand if he does not wish to. There are 2 notable exceptions to the custom of the call to arms. In lands where the civilization is very different from medieval Europe, the custom might not be used. In wilderness areas where there are no rulers, it would naturally be unknown. If the character is within a territory that has declared itself hostile to the knight's liege, the knight need not respond. If the call to arms is against the land of his liege, he must not respond. In fact, the knight would be in great danger when the call to arms sounds. So Avengers. So yeah, this is the first actually that I've ever heard of this term. A chaotic traveling fighter may become an Avenger if he meets the following requirements. Otherwise, a chaotic traveling fighter may also become a knight. The fighter must make alliance with a chaotic clerical order. This is not a swearing oath of fealty, but a loose agreement of loyalty and support. The order may decline the offer. If the order accepts, the order's leader must summon the Avenger at any time, and he must do as they command. If he disobeys them, he loses all special abilities and benefits of being an Avenger. Even then, the fighter may regain Avenger status by negotiating with a different order. An Avenger can detect evil as the cleric spell once per round. Okay, if your wisdom score is 13 or greater, you can cast cleric spells. as if you were a cleric of 1/3 level. So that's similar to Paladin. An Avenger may turn undead as if he were a cleric. Okay, similar to of what lower level, similar to Paladin. An Avenger may not have human or demi-human hirelings. However, the Avenger may try to persuade monsters of chaotic alignment to become his hirelings. If a chaotic creature is not immediately hostile, the Avenger may offer food, treasure, indicating through word or gesture friendship. If this fails, threats of combat resulting in surrender may accept nearly the same result. If the creature's reaction roll indicates friendship, the creature is persuaded to follow and obey the Avenger. Well, that's it. So chaotic creatures can follow you around. That's interesting. An Avenger may visit any castle, ruin, or dungeon known to be ruled by an intelligent, chaotic monster or character, and using the alignment tongue. Oh, here's the alignment tongue. So we talked about that. Using the alignment tongue, so something so that all creatures of certain alignments can talk to one another, demands sanctuary as the knight per the knight above. An Avenger may pretend to be a knight and request sanctuary of other rulers. If he deceives the ruler and is not tipped up by some alignment revealing magic, the ruler will provide him with normal sanctuary. Just seeing what's going on over here in the chat. Lots of chat today. So, okay, so magic user. We got a very generic term here, magic user. So what's their XP progression like? Goes up at 2,500. Well, now, so it also takes a while to get to 2,000 to second level. So that's the longest yet, right? Longer than cleric, longer than fighter. And then what are we doing? It looks like 1,500. Once we hit level 9, we're doing 1,500 per level. Well, level 8 to 9 is also 1,500. So 6,000, it's 60,000 here. It says 40,000, 60,000. So not only do you start off kind of as a weakling, but it's actually in the case of magic users, it's going to be taking you a while to actually level. No armor, no shield permitted. Weapons, dagger only. Optional, DM's discretion, staff, blowgun, flaming oil, holy water, net, thrown rock, sling, and whip. And here are our saving throws. Your magic user should not go on adventures alone because of his low defenses and low hit points. One surprise could kill him. In groups, he should always stay in the middle of the party, protected from attacks, and use his magic in ways that will help win the fight. So it's difficult. So, okay, so it says magic users start as the weakest characters, but can eventually become the most powerful. Their magic spells can be used for many things, from simple things like opening doors and locks to impressive and dangerous magical attacks, such as throwing lightning. All details on spell casting are given in Chapter 3. However, it is often difficult for magic users to survive. There are few weapons and spells at low levels balance against the power they eventually achieve. So there's the statement right out. What the idea of balance here is. Few weapons and spells balance against the power they will eventually receive. Therefore, magic users must be cautious at lower levels, as few will survive without protection. And that's when it says, don't go out alone. I know, that's funny too. Rogue Thinker says, I like how throwing a rock was an option. That's optional. That's optional. Only with the DM's permission can you throw the rock. Sable Phoenix says, linear fighters and quadratic wizards is justified by the amount of time and risk involved. Your poor D4 wizard is unlikely to get very high, statistically speaking. So if you do, then you get the benefits. Any comments on the spell progression? Let's see. Let's take a look at that. We should. So now you are getting one spell, the classic one spell, one first level spell. And there were no bonus spells, right? So you get one spell at first level. I'm not going to remember the 5th edition progression well enough, but you're going up 1, 2, So you get 2 spells at level 2. You stay 2 first level spells for a while, all the way to 7th. And then you start getting you get your 2nd level spell at level 3. You get a 3rd level spell at level 5. So by the time you reach this 9th level, you're casting, you've got 1 5th level spell. I wonder if we're looking at the spells, we've got one of the many kind of weak features of 5th edition is the ritual tag. That, okay, there's some spells that are can be ritually cast. I mean, most spells are like supposed to be able to be cast in combat, but some of them can be cast as a ritual if it has a ritual tag. But we'll have to see what happens when we get to name level here at level 9. If your spells change, like that would be interesting, because like if you're expected to possibly be like in a tower and managing things from a tower after you've hit level 9, then maybe the spells require more time to cast. That's the kind of spells that were like, well, that's what you're doing in your magic circle up on your tower or something like that. I remember playing the first level wizard with 1 spell in AD&D. Yeah, Mike Hansford says that young magic users were pretty much fodder when they first started off. Rogue Thinker says, not a real fan of spells per day per level, but if that's the way then this is my favorite form of that. Oh, William says there's no casting time in this edition. All right, so now we know. Okay, so magic user saving throws all the way out to level 36. Special abilities. The magic user's sole special ability is that he can cast magic spells. So we're not covered up in abilities. Your special ability is spell casting. That's what you can do. The character classes at high. Okay, so once we get to 9th, we can build a tower. So what is a tower? A magic user constructs a tower will usually attract 1d6 apprentices. All magic users have experienced levels 1 to 3. If a name level magic user decides to build a tower or to take up regular residence in a home of a ruler who wishes to employ him, he is referred to as a land-owning magic user. Otherwise, he's a traveling magic user, as we're about to see here. So land-owning magic users, independent wizards. Land-owning magic users, magists. So magic users who decide to live in their own strongholds, regardless of their political affiliation or interest in the outer world, are referred to as independent wizards. They're commonly referred to and addressed as a wizard or maga, or maga, I guess, whatever their actual titles may be. An independent magic user may build or seize a tower. By tradition, he need not seek permission from the local lord beforehand. If, however, the wizard does seek the ruler's permission, the ruler will probably give the magic user a lavish gift, official title to the dominion, and possibly some sort of official rank of nobility to keep the favor in the character. Only the most powerful of rulers would dare to offend a magic user, whatever their alignment differences. After the magic user moves into the tower, he may choose to build a dungeon beneath it or near it. Most wizards or mages employ specialists to do their mining and engineering, but many may decide to create the dungeon themselves if they know the proper spell. So it's the wizards going around creating the dungeons? And of course, any character building a stronghold could build a dungeon, a subterranean complex where prisoners can be kept, and the character can perform specific researches in secret, but a wizard can choose for his dungeon to be different. If one or more of the levels of the dungeon are completed, the wizard leaves an unguarded. If once more than once one or more levels of the dungeon are completed, the wizard leaves an unguarded opening to the dungeon. Monsters will be attracted and will build lairs. Some wizards encourage this sort of thing when they have ready access to a variety of different monster types, useful for research and staying aware of what's happening in the realm of monsters. So this gives a reason for the dungeons and also gives a reason for a bunch of monsters to be in there because the wizards are building those. So it says anybody can build a subterranean complex where prisoners are kept. But it's the wizards who are doing all the weird dungeon stuff. So that provides some type of reason for all this stuff to be out there. That's interesting. So Stargate Mind says, yeah, this is why 5e removed the dig spell and Fool's Gold. Yeah, come to think, I don't remember those in 5th edition, come to think of it. So, just such monster-infested dungeons are not looked upon favorably by humans in the region. Dungeons tend to make the locals nervous, and monsters in them often prey on nearby human communities. Wizards who create these dungeons need to be aware of how low-level adventurers may take action against the monsters in these dungeons. Therefore, you're going to be keeping the dungeon either to keep the region safe or simply fill their own coffers with the monster's treasure. Independent wizards who usually live in complete solitude. They may or may not interact with the ruler and nobilities of nations in which they live as they please. They may continue to go on quests and adventures with their old friends. Other wizards may visit and correspond with them in order to facilitate magical research and understanding. So, but if you're a magist, if a landowning magic user cannot or does not want to maintain a tower, the character can apply for a position as a magus in an existing castle or stronghold. If the ruler does not have a magist and can afford one, he will usually accept the application unless the wizard has so vile a reputation that the ruler cannot trust the wizard. So first you find somebody to hire you, then you negotiate the payment with other benefits of the ruler. Standard payment is a minimum of 3,000 gold pieces per month. Wow. 3,000 gold pieces per month. That's a lot of gold. With mages above 15th level commanding higher payment. Finally, the character must swear an oath of fealty to that ruler to become a magist. Yeah, I can see how it would become difficult if you had the party. And then they all start becoming name level. Now, I guess they all could decide to, okay, we're going to keep traveling. But if some of them are wanting to do other things, you've got to come up with some way to keep the game going. Even though you got this guy living out here in a tower, you got this guy living over, you got this guy, working for this ruler. But perhaps the solution to that is multiple characters. Mages at name level learn to make magic items up to a point and more as they research and grow in levels. Brett Hamilton says T-minus 81 hours. Brett's been looking forward to this. T-minus 81 hours until Hero Quest, dinner, and a board game. Yeah, I could probably find that link and put that link in here. That way people can click on, I'll do that at the end. Can click on the remind me. Magus has a hard G, by the way. Unlike Magi, so Sable Phoenix is also correcting our pronunciation here. Well, so that is, so Magus. So the word is Magus here. What is going on? Can't see. Magus has a hard G, by the way. Unlike Magi, which has a G that sounds like a J. It's confusing. I always say Magi. I don't really encounter the word, so that's Magus. I don't really encounter the word Magus. But was that how that was pronounced or how that was spelled over here? I think that was, yeah, this is actually, so M-A-G-A. So that's supposed to be Maga, a wizard or Maga. Now here is Magus right here. A traveling magic user of either gender is known as a Magus. Traveling, so Magi. So Magi is the singular. No, excuse me. Magi is the plural of Magus. I always just use the word mage. Now, M-A-G-E. I don't think I really use magus. I do use mage, though. Magi and magus. Yeah, see, I think, yeah, I guess multiple characters is what you're supposed to be going here. Yeah, so magi is plural of magus. What's the collective noun? Yeah, so maybe it is. Magus pronunciation is actually magus. We got a little bit of different opinion here. But yeah, one it could be it could be an error. Okay, so let's see. Travel. So what if you choose to remain traveling? So we'll go magus and then magi and mage. Because I always think of a, well, no, I do use magus. Not all that commonly, but when I think of mage, I do think of generic magic user. So it's interesting they actually give that as a title here. When I think of mage, I think of a generic term for magic user, which could be male or female, but I do use mages. You pronounce it like magic, but with an us. Magus. Well, that would be magus. Magus. But with a hard A and a hard C. Okay, so now I'm confused. Now I forget what I'm supposed to say. So magus. I think we came up that it was supposed to be magus. Pronounced like magic, except for the hard G and an us. Magus. Magus will attract traveling fighters and clerics who often travel to help the magus in return for pay. The magus attracts 1d6 such hirelings. These hirelings are of levels much higher than normal, 5th level minimum. So the next thing was actually we've only done 3 of these. So thief here. So let's just see. So let's do thief. That way we've done the human classes. I do want to look at the demi-human classes, but then we'll move on. But let's see. So thieves have numerous special abilities. Okay, so what's our overview over here is dexterity. You get the experience bonuses for high dexterity. This is 1d4 hit points we were talking about yesterday, and we were just talking about a moment ago. But we get to, starting at 10th level, you get plus 2 hit points per level. Hey, do you still get extra hit points if you're a wizard? Okay, yes, you do. You get plus 1 hit point per level if you're a wizard, beyond your level 9. Leather armor only. Shields are not permitted. Any missile weapon or one-handed melee weapon. At first level, you've got your thief skills. So thieves have numerous special abilities. They receive some of them at first level when they begin play, and receive others as they gain experience levels. At first level, thieves know the following skills: open locks, find and remove traps, climb walls, move silently, hide in shadows, pickpockets, and hear noise. They also learn the skill of backstabbing. The thieves' special ability table shows the development of the thieves' special abilities. So here we go. So thieves are going to move up fast. Not quite as fast as clerics, but 1,200 points to level 2. Then we're doubling that. We only need 1,600 experience. Like, so that's an 80,000 jumps. That's a double right here to 80,000. then it looks like we're going up by 1,600 experience points from there. So actually, it's the cleric. So that was the cleric was a 100,000 experience point, right? So the cleric moved kind of fast. And then here are saving throws. So look at that. We get down to 2s and 3s. Now, of course, that's up at 33rd to 36th level. But thieves become very good at resisting things. Even in the beginning, you've got a pretty reasonable chance. So at level 17 to 20, you're at 5s and 6s and 7s and 8s. So 17 to 20. But at 1 to 4, you're still 13, 14, 16. So someone calls for a save, you get a pretty reasonable chance of passing it. So here are Thieves' of special ability tables. This is the percentage tables. So in second or in AD&D, I remember that you could roll and add certain amounts of skills to different, certain amount of points to different skills. But this is just giving you what your skill is as you go up in level. Open locks. So you start with but you only start with a 15% chance of opening locks. A 10% chance. I mean, you can do it, but not very well. Remove traps, 10. Now, climbing walls, that one does start high. That one starts at 87%. Move silently, 20%. So you can try these things, but you probably are not going to be able to do it. So let's see here. For each number, the column on the left is the thief's experience level. Cross-reference this level for a skill that he is trying to use. For instance, a 6th level thief using his climb wall skill has a 92% chance. Each number on the table below is a percentage chance the thief is successful in that special ability. Tell the dungeon master whenever you want your thief to use a special ability. At the DM's discretion, either the player or the DM will roll percentile dice. If the result is equal to or less than the percentage given, the thief's attempt is successful. A thief may not try to open a particular lock that he's failed at until he gains another level of experience. Without lockpicks, he may not use this ability. Find traps. Remove traps. Can't do that unless it's been found. Climb walls. With the successful use of the special ability, the thief can climb steep surfaces such as sheer cliffs, walls, and so forth. The chances for success are good, but if failed, the thief slips at the halfway point and falls. So that's telling you, so you're not having to do this in multiple. How many climb checks do I need to? So it's one climb check. And if you fail, you have fallen at the halfway point. You haven't okay, it doesn't look like I can actually climb that. You're going to take the risk. And if you fail that roll, so it's one roll. The DM rolls for success. Oh no, it's once every 100 feet climbed. This DM rolls for success once every 100 feet climbed. So that's a chunk. That's a chunk of climbing. If the roll is a failure, the thief takes 1d6 points of damage per 10 feet fallen. Falling during a 10-foot climb will inflict 1 point of damage. So it's not once per climb. It's once per 100 feet. But like I said, that's still a lot of climbing. And so if you climb the whole 100 feet on one roll, you risk taking 5d6 damage, which is probably going to kill you. Yeah, I know. It's the Stray says lockpicks help. Oh, see, Zero Theory. Okay, Zero Theory says, were there bonuses based on high dex to add to these? I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any of that. Yeah, lockpicks help. Yeah, I think I guess that the reason they did that, is because, okay, what happens if you don't open the lock? Oh, well, you'll have to wait until next level. What happens if you didn't find the trap? Well, now that could be deadly. Nope, I didn't find the trap. I didn't remove the trap. Does it say, with the successful use of the special ability, the thief may remove or deactivate a trap. He may not roll this ability against a trap unless it has been found. The thief may try his ability only once per trap. Failure to remove a trap. Oh, it triggers the trap. So failure to remove the trap triggers the trap. So, well, that one could be pretty deadly. If because you're probably not going to know it's there anyway. But then once you do, you're going to try to remove it. But who's going to take? It depends on what kind of trap it is, I guess. But it seems like who's going to try to remove it if you've got a 10% chance of removing the trap or get like hit by a spear that comes out of the wall or something like that, right? So I guess that one actually can't be deadly. What I was saying is that I guess that they went ahead and started with the climbing walls being high because if you fail that roll, you're taking damage. Move silently wouldn't necessarily kill you directly if you fail it. Hide in shadows wouldn't necessarily directly kill you if you fail it. Likewise with pickpockets or hear noise. If you fail it, the pickpocket, somebody might turn around. So there are things that could indirectly kill you after this. Although triggering the trap would too, depending on what it is. But climbing walls, I don't know. We haven't looked at all the different traps yet, but it's possible that if it's like a spear trap, then that might not be as deadly. But falling off 50 feet, if you try and climb 200 feet, I guess they just decided that's something they can do because you pass the first one. The second one, you're going to be falling 150 feet. So you're going to be taking 15 D6 worth of damage. I mean, basically, you're going to die. Lord Lawless says clerics are OP fast, level fast, get more spells, more HP faster, know all spells, full armor, okay attack, good saves, and on top of that, make the whole class of monsters undead trivial to deal with. Yeah, 100 feet will kill a thief on average 10d6. Yeah, you only have 1d4, right? So, but you're not falling all. It says you fall halfway. So if you're trying to climb 100 feet and you fail, you fall 50 feet. But so it would take the 5d6. But yeah, a level 5 thief only has 1d4 hit points. Now 1d4 hit points per level plus Constitution. But still, yeah, you're basically. I mean, that's a good way to look at it. That for every level, you should be able to expect to be able to fall 10 feet. Or rather the reverse in the case of the thief. Like, so if you only have 1d4 hit points per level, and every 10-foot fall, you're going to take 1d6, it's probable that every 10 feet per level is going to kill you. Pray the mage can cast Featherfall quickly. Yes. Oh, so Rhino Watcher says if you fail the trap check, you still get a save versus device. Okay. So that helps. That helps. Because what we've got Death Ray, Magic Wands, Paralysis, Turn to Stone, Breath Attack, Rod, Staff, Spell, our weird eclectic collection of saving throws. Zero Theory says poison needle traps were all the rage back then. Right, so you do not get a save for falling, but you get a save for the trap. So that is a big difference. And they're generally good at saving things. James Bacon says most characters I've ever had die to trap damage while DMing was 3. They learned to spread out real quick. The most characters I've ever had die at trap damage was 3. Yeah, you do not start off as a proficient thief. Yeah, Zero Theory says, I'm trying to imagine a 50-foot fall in real life. That's a pretty serious fall. What is something that is 50 feet tall? How tall is 50 feet compared to a human? Yeah. That's not good. William says most saves versus traps were poison and death ray, I think. Oh, I've read a claim that OD&D original Little Brown Books editor changed formula from D6 per 10 feet cumulative. So 10 feet is D6, 20 feet is D6 plus 3D6, 30 feet is... Whoa! Well, that would be really rough. Yeah, if that's the case. So falling out of a 4th floor building. So, okay, so... Well, yeah, this says right here, yeah, that it's just D6 per 10 feet fallen. So it does give you that right here. Moving silently. When trying to move silently across a field of dried leaves, his percentage chance would go down. While if he does so during a loud tournament, his chances would be enhanced. Note that it doesn't do the thief any good to use this skill against somebody who's already aware of him. So you can even reduce this. Move silently. Yeah, if you're trying to move across leaves, you're not very good. Of course, you're not a very good wizard either, right? When you start out. Hide in shadows. When a thief is in shadows, observers only get a chance to see him if they look directly at him, at which time they must roll again. If he tries to hide in shadows but fails, he will not know that his position of concealment is a failure until someone sees him and announces that fact. Although your hide in shadows at level 1 is only 10%. So I guess if you say, I'm going to hide in shadows, you probably better just assume that you're not actually very well hidden. Like, you can't count on that. It might get you out of some situation occasionally, but you might as well just assume that you're capable of being seen. So pickpockets, if the attempt succeeds, the thief is able to pick the other pockets without noticing. If the roll is a simple failure, the thief gets his hands on what he's seeking. Now, the thief fails to get his hands on what he's seeking. If the roll is greater than twice what he needs to succeed, or a double zero. It's interesting that this has a special rule about what you're rolling. So if the roll is a simple failure, the thief fails to get his hands on what he was seeking. If the roll is greater than twice what the thief needed to succeed, or a double zero in any case, the thief is caught in the act by his intended victim and possibly others. When using the skill, subtract 5% per level or HD of the victim. Normal men and women who do not have adventuring ability, and all that do not belong to adventuring character class are treated as being level 0. So, for example, a first-level thief tries to pick the pocket of a first-level fighter walking along the street. His chance is 20% normal, minus 5. 5 times 1, or 15%. The DM rolls the percentile die and rolls a 41. This is over twice what he needed to roll, so the thief is caught in the act. Mike says, any way you slice it, falling is going to hurt a lot. Zero Theory says they didn't want to mess with exponential gravity. So, Sable Phoenix says it increases the amount of fall damage. Yeah, the fall damage here is always something to discuss about, because this is what Lord Lawless is talking about right here. Some players can just choose to take the damage, because if it's 1D, so that might be why you increase it, Sable Phoenix, when you're talking about D10 per level. Well, Barbarians would still get D12 hit points. But Zero Theory says, yeah, Lord Lawless, many DMs, me included, say there's a certain amount that you fall and you just die no matter what. That's one of the problems with hit points. That's the fall damage always comes up when you're talking about hit points. So, proper use of thief abilities. Watch for opportunities to use special abilities and simply tell your dungeon master when you want your thief to use one. A stuck or exponentially exponentially difficult lock, carefully hidden trap, slippery wall, or very faint noise may cause a penalty to be applied to the normal chances of a successful use. The DM could assign the task a penalty of -5%, -10%, -20%, or higher, depending on the difficulty of the task. If, after applying such penalties, the chance of success remains 100% or greater, the DM should just adjust it to 99%, allowing a 1% minimum chance of failure in most cases. However, the DM should not modify the move silently or hide in shadows skill unless the thief is undertaking actions that are outside the ability's usual functions, trying to move silently while running full speed or across a floor covered with peanut shells, hiding when very near to torchlight, etc. So, backstabbing. You can use this with a club. When backstabbing, here a thief gains a +4 bonus to the attack roll. If the target is hit, the damage is done is twice normal. If the intended victim sees, hears, or is warned about the thief's approach, the thief's attack is not a backstab, it is an ordinary attack, doing the damage appropriate to the weapon used. When no battle is in progress, a backstab attempt may require a move silently ability check. The DM may make all the necessary decisions on that matter. If you're trying to move your level 1, you're not going to be doing that very often. Read languages. When the thief reaches 4th level, he gains an 80% chance to read any normal written or writing or language, including simple codes, dead languages, treasure maps, and so on, but not magical writing. If he tries to fail to read a piece of writing, he must gain at least 1 experience level before trying to read it again. I forgot about that. Cast spells from magic user scrolls. At 10th level, a thief gains the ability to cast magic user spells from spell scrolls. However, there's always a 10% chance the spell will backfire, creating an unexpected result because the thief's imperfect understanding of magic writings. This ability only allows the thief to cast spells from existing magic scrolls, not to write their own. So you can become a master thief. You become a master thief at 9th level. You're a master thief at 9th level. So what kind of skills does that give you? You have a 54% chance of opening locks, 50% chance of finding traps, 46% chance of removing the traps, 95% chance of climbing the wall, 55% chance of moving silently. Hide in shadows is 41%, pickpockets is 60%, and hear noise is 66%. So you're, with the exception of the climbing walls, you're around the 50-50 area with your skills. So when you're 50-50 with your skills, you are a master thief. And you can construct a hideout. And then at this point, so the and attract other thieves. At this point, the thief may want to attempt setting up your thieves guild. So you might be the one running the thieves guild. So the character can at some point ask for control of a larger branch of the guild. This is recommended when 18th level is reached and become a powerful official in the guild's headquarters. Or you can become a traveling thief. A name level thief who chooses not to establish a hideout or any station of the local guild authority is a traveling thief known as a rogue. A rogue may remain a member of the thieves guild, though he needs to visit the guild once a year. Once a character becomes a rogue, the character can never become a guild master or established branch of the guild. However, if he later decides to settle down, if a guild master permits, he may set up a new branch of a guild where none currently exists. The rogue has a chance, checked by the DM once per game week, of discovering treasure maps or rumors about the location of great treasure. That's interesting. Once per game week. So that's game time, not real world time, of discovering treasure maps or rumors about the location of great treasure. This chance is based on him keeping his ear to the thieves' grapevine. So that's a useful reason to have that character around, because in your groups, you may want to go and find treasure. Likewise, the rogue may visit any branch of the Thieves Guild to see the guild master and learn information, tips, and rumors. If the local guild master is willing to suffer his presence in the territory, if the guild master is willing, he will only be under the condition the character hire assistance from several low-level thieves on a temporary basis. Zero Theory asks, anyone play the Lankamar setting? Great Thieves Guild campaign setting. I have not. So Lord Lawless says issue 7 article by Frank Mentzer has the reference about falling damage was supposed to be cumulative. So that would have fixed so that would have gone some way toward fixing the hit point problem, right? Like that, or at least, well, I mean, there's many problems that we're having with like an inflationary hit point system. But if you did do cumulative fall damage, that would keep something like the Barbarian from just leaping off something huge and surviving it. So that's interesting. I wonder, but something that was maybe in error, was that what it was about? And that we should have been doing something like that all along? That's the first I've ever heard about that. It's very interesting, Lord Lawless. Okay, so let's see. This is fun. We got 23 people here. So if you are here and you if you were brought here by the algorithm, please do hit the like button and the subscribe button. It's absolutely fantastic to have you here. I'm going to give you a couple of links right here. So this is hit this link. This is Dinner and a Board Game right here. That's the link for Friday's show. That's going to be at 6:30. So a little bit earlier than I normally do my evening shows, but I think that's going to have to be the way it's going to be because games can go late, and I don't want to just go long, and I don't want to go way too late. So that is the Hero Quest Dinner and a Board Game. I've got steak to cook, and then I've got the Hero Quest 1 from the Barbarian book to play. And then tonight, in about 8 hours, this is Silence of the Lamb. So Silence of the Lambs, that's going to be at 7:30 tonight. Hit the notification button for both of those. If you're in the chat, click those, hit the notification, then maybe YouTube will make sure to remind you. But also, you can check out the Discord server, and I will also put out reminders in the Ravenkeep Discord server. So, all right. Only steak, Daniel asks. Well, also bacon. Bacon and steak. So that's what I'm cooking. So, all right. So that's it. I've got work to do. So, and I also need to review Silence of the Lambs before tonight. But I've got work to do. I need to get up the Kickstarter page for Goodnight Sword so we can start moving forward through here. So what's exactly what I was going to say. Having lived through the edition since the beginning, I'm just fascinated about changes, cycles, and how every generation kind of hashes over and rediscovers a lot of the same things. That's one of the reasons that I was doing this, because I did not play through this edition. But I'm interested, like the cycling, and that's what we were talking about last time as well. Like what goes away and then comes back, or what actually has some type of was present, and then something that looks new, but actually there was some type of a predecessor to it or something like that. And this is interesting, especially in the context of all the OSR stuff that people really like. Why not just go back to the original? So these books, especially now that they're available in PDF or they're available in print on demand. Now, like I said, there is some funniness about it and some arbitrariness. Oh, look, Brent just became a new member. We have a new member. Thank you very much, Brent. But so we can. So I do appreciate the attempts to kind of modernize the original kind of stuff. So yes, thank you so much, Brent. So Brent is a new member, and now on especially on the evening shows, we had a lot of conversation over here. So what I think we're going to have to generally move to is especially like on Dinner a Board Game or on when we're talking with Doug and other things like that. I'll prioritize the channel members' comments and things like that while we are discussing. So, all right, everybody, have a fantastic day. Be creative, be productive, and grind on.